Hi, I want to cover a little bit of, or go over a little bit of what we covered in math and exposition or literature and writing for week 2. You can see all the questions and the ideas that I wanted to bring up during math. We didn't have time for all these. We talked about place values um, and trying to highlight these. We talked about place values. I shared the importance of knowing place values to be able to do other things. When you're asked to round, when you're asked to estimate to a certain place value, you need to know where that place value is. So we talked a little bit about base 10 and place values and expanded notation. I wanted to spend some time with greatest common factors and factors. We talked a little bit about factors. We did not talk about the GFC. I skipped that, and we were going to come back to it, and we ran out of time. Nor did we talk about the divisibility rules very much. We used them a little bit. I told them that it's a helpful thing to know, but it's not something that they will cause them to flounder as they progress through math if they do not know these divisibility rules. We talked about one of the main things I wanted to focus on was geometry concepts. So we talked about dimensions that we relate to 3 dimensions: length, width, and height. We talked about how to name a point. You name a point, which is just a location in space. You name it with a capital letter. We talked about the fact that a line has 1 dimension and that it takes 2 points to make a line. For any 2 points, you can create a line, and I talked about how you could use that as a carpenter. How do you name a line? A line consists of an infinite number of points. So you can name a line by any 2 points on the line. So you could have line AB. You could write it out, line AB with a capital A and a B. And then I also showed them the symbolism, the symbolic notation for writing a line. You would say, capital AB with a line symbol over it. A ray extends in one direction infinitely. It has an endpoint that we call a vertex. And we talked about a ray and how to name a ray. You always name a ray with the vertex, the endpoint first, and then you use for notation, you use a ray symbol. Like if it was ray AB, I would put AB with a ray symbol over it. We talked about what a line segment is. It contains 2 endpoints. We talked about a ruler being a line segment. And we name a line segment the same way with the endpoints. The order doesn't matter for naming endpoints, lines, or rays. And we just draw a dash over the points, the endpoints. We talked a little bit about parallel lines. We identified parallel lines and perpendicular lines in the classroom. We talked about oblique lines. Those are lines that do intersect at some point other than a right angle. We talked about angles. A lot of people think of angles as the space between 2 sides or whatever. An angle technically is where 2 rays meet at a common endpoint or vertex. And so the point where they intersect is called the vertex, and then the rays are called sides of the angles. We also talked about how to name angles. If you have an angle that has a common vertex, we can't just say angle B or angle C. We have to name it where the vertex is in the middle. Remember, the vertex is where the 2 lines or rays or segments intersect. And so, like if we had angle ABC, if I read that, then that middle letter would be where the vertex is. That would tell me where I could locate the vertex. And so forth. We talked a little bit about percents and fractions. Again, you can spend a lot of time talking about that. I told them to come with questions if they need it. You can call with questions or whatever. So that's math, and I thought that I would get math and exposition in with one video, and I'm going to go ahead, since this is about 4.5 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and cut